to try and figure out how we can help you do engineering construction better from a single vendor. Now, a couple of problems with my presentation. One is my accent, so it's a funny Scottish accent. So if I'm talking too fast, please get me to slow down. And the rest of it we will try and just get through as we go. So the thing that Oracle Legal always make me show is this here. I'll save the translator translating that for you. It's our lawyers saying, don't believe anything I say. Okay, so we're going to show you some new stuff, so just take that as new and there. From an industry perspective, I hear things again and again and again about problems that people within construction and engineering and construction have. And let's just see if it's the same in Turkey in this region as I hear anywhere else. The first thing I hear is how do we grow? How do we grow our business? How do we get bigger and make more money? Traditionally, we see small businesses growing up as traditional owner-maintained, and then they float or they acquire and they get bigger and bigger and bigger. So how can we get to a point where we can get that sustained growth? So if we acquire a business, how can we bring that business in and get the maximum benefit from that? And what we find is a lot of people are kind of tendering for the wrong stuff. Everything that comes in, we put a response out automatically, but we never really have a view of the whole company. So when I talk to organizations about how much they spend winning work, let's see if I'm right here. I'll just give you some numbers and just work along yourself for your own business. We think their average business spends about 3% of revenue winning new work. Okay? And of that 3%, about a third of that money is spent putting teams of people in a room to respond to a customer tender. So we sit and we write a response, and it's an RFP and an RFI or whatever it is, and then we throw it over the fence to the customer, and we cross our fingers and hope we win. So now I'm going to ask you what you think your win rate is. So do you win 1 in 3, or 1 in 4, or 1 in 5, or 1 in 6? Well, a very, very simple metrics for a $10 billion business, that means roughly $75 million a year is spent tendering for work that's never won. So our customers are asking us, is there a better way of doing this? Can we kind of focus more on the good customers with the right work at the higher margin, where we're much more confident about the delivery? So is there a way we can start that up front? And that's quite an interesting concept, because a lot of construction businesses, the CRM system, the thing we know about the customers, is the little black book the sales guy carries around with him. And it's quite difficult to get that information and spread it across all of our opcos so that we can get that rounded view of the customer. So we hear that an awful lot. The other thing we do here is once we've won the work, we need insight into how that business and that project is running. If I talk to a chief executive and say, how long does it take you to get a report, a progress report on your project? They kind of look at their shoes quite a lot. They don't really meet my eye. And if you press them, they'll sort of say, well, about 2 weeks. You know, if they say, hey, how's it going? By the time we get all the way down the supply chain and all the way back up again with a report, we're reacting to problems. We're not solving problems first. So we're being reactive rather than proactive. And again, if you look at margins within an engineering construction business, quite low margins, and if you look at a big project and the change we all see that happens on these big projects, it doesn't take very much for a big project to erode a whole year's profit for the whole organization. So people are asking us, how do we get more confident about delivering on time and on budget? The other thing that I hear a lot is, can we give our customers a better experience when we give them the projects and hand the project over? Traditionally, I don't know if this looks like what you see often, when we hand over stuff, quite often it's really poorly handed over, badly documented, and we run as quickly as possible to the next project. we want to finish, we want to go and do something new. And the customer ends up with a kind of bad taste in the mouth. They don't really like what we've handed over to them, and they spend quite a lot of time either re-establishing that documentation with their new facilities managers, or they just don't get use of the asset from day one. So again, the customer gets quite a poor experience as we hand projects over. So these are quite common themes that I hear as I go around the world talking to people about projects. And then we sort of had to think about how we might try and solve that with Oracle's resources. I mean, we're a very, very large company, and we can do everything from hardware and disks right up to solutions. Is there a way we could help to pull that together? And is there a way we could help to, first of all, articulate that problem so that we could talk to customers about it? And we call it Capital Asset Lifecycle, and that's a program that I manage within Oracle. But Capital Asset Lifecycle, again, if we came up and said, hey guys, buy Capital Asset Lifecycle, probably there are bits of it that you've already got, probably there are bits of it you do well, and there are certainly some bits of it that might keep you awake at night at the moment. So really, is there a way that we can then break that down to make it more consumable, bite-sized chunks that you can get started with? So this is our view of Capital Asset Lifecycle. Across the middle, that delivery piece that I've just spoken about, where's the right work with the right customer to give me growth and better margin? How do I make sure I deliver on time and on budget? And can I give the customer a really great experience so that they'll come back and use us again? To help do that, we work in a knowledge enterprise. There is stuff within our ecosystem, within our servers, within our emails, that we already know about projects that we're not using. We're not using that information very well. And actually, we can't get kids now coming into engineering construction to do anything other than play with their Apple iMac or iPad, and they're not really interested in using computers. They want to socialize, they want to text, they want to do anything but use a computer to deliver a project. So we need to help try and tie those new users to come in and help us do it. So the digital project information, that subset of data that we need, plus how do we interact now in a modern way with a diverse partners evolving to solve one project that disappear and are now competitors on another project. How do we pull that whole ecosystem together to help us deliver better projects? With Oracle, we've got an awful lot of fundamentals that make it relatively easy to do. So we've got a very good ground-up architecture that helps us do that. So all of the stuff that I'm able to do is built on a very, very solid foundation and is relatively straightforward. The other thing is what our customers think. Now, these people up here, some of them you'll recognize, sit on something called an Industry Strategy Council, which I sit on with some other people within Oracle. And just for a change, we asked the customers what they thought of Oracle and what they'd like to see us do. And absolute top of the tree for all of these people was stop coming together with small atomic products, bring a whole solution that covers this area and show us how to do it. Please show us how to do it. So that's where I picked up this program and went on with it. So these guys sit with us for 1 week a year. They spend time with us. They come into San Francisco. They meet our senior execs. We talk to them. And they've helped formulate the ideas that you'll see in this solution. Okay, so it's a sort of customer-driven initiative. So it's not just Oracle saying, hey, this is how it should be done. This is customers saying to us, this is how we'd like it to be done. And this is what we think you should be doing. So the solution package is something that we tried a couple of years ago with partners. And then I got some funds this year to start to pull it together into one place. So I'm actually going to show you something where there's no software on my laptop. I'm going to show you some software, but I'm going to drive it straight out of a cloud environment to let you have a look at what it might look like. So how do we, again, project that information into our project sites? We don't want to be arriving and trying to establish a network on our porta cabins. We just want to arrive and work effectively from day one. Okay. The things that it pulls together, look complicated. And that's because Oracle's got so many best-of-breed products. But what we've done is we've built the integrations, we've pre-built the integrations, and we're allowing the person who has a task to do to work in their preferred application, but share information and think about it as a single version of the truth. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I used to go to project meetings, we used to have the first hour of the project meeting arguing about who had the right data. And then we'd wheel the customer in and tell them where the project was going. So that argument about what is progress and what's the truth, we're trying to bring into one place to help us unify that data. If you'd have had me up here 3 years ago, this would have been Oracle's view of engineering construction, of a simple explain diagram. I have one of these, it's covered in plastic, and I can sit with an executive anywhere in the world, and we draw on this and write on it. And it's a great way of talking about how the business works and where the issues and problems might be within the business. So we use this all the time to explain, but all the solution does is it adds some plumbing to help join things up. And then what we did was we built an application to sit over the top and to join these pieces together. Now, that's only part of the story for a solution because, again, we need people to help us and to help you deliver it. So as well as the program around software and integration and solutions, in my program I have a number of global SIs who are fully engaged with this and who already understand what we're doing so that we can go as a joint group and actually know what we're looking for, give you a head start, give you a quick start so that you get quick wins with the solutions team who already know how it's built and how it's ready to integrate. So we're not constantly reinventing the wheel and we're not constantly learning. The idea is to give a very quick start on a really solid platform where we can move forward. Now this is what caused all the grey hairs that I've got. We decided to build this, and which you're not seeing, which is interesting. Okay. You see it now. Everyone okay? So this is live software running on one of our clouds. So what I did in the summer was I invented a construction company. And there they are, called the Global Construction Co. And they've got a logo, and they've got a website, and they've got all sorts of health and safety information, and they've got a mission statement, and they've got all sorts of data and stuff like that. So we invented a global company. Believe it or not, they gave me a little bit of funding, so they actually took the people off who write the Oracle.com website and gave me the designers to play with for a couple of weeks to write my website. So it was all good fun, and we had a great time putting it together. But what we did do then was we built a workbench. So let's think about, regardless of what you do, being able to come to one place, regardless of who you are, including the client and the subcontractors, to forget that single version of the truth, and then using a tool to help us do that. I can't see any screen, so I'm going to turn away from you slightly as I log in. This is where I always get the password wrong. It's my lucky day. So what we've done now is we don't really want to save that password. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So what we've done is we've tied it all together into a single workbench. So you can log in as a project manager, you can log in as a project director, you can log in as a business development person, we can give you a subcontractor login, we can give you a client login, and the first thing it does is it shows you what we think you need to know about the project. So it shows you different levels of business intelligence depending on who you are. So you don't have to go and look for it, it kind of delivers it straight to you. The other thing it does is it lets you get to all the applications. So that's e-business, ERP, project schedule, Primavera, project commercials here, Primavera Unifier, or reporting modules. So you find places, you don't need lots of icons on your desktop, it's all here. The other thing that it does is we've unified all the notifications. So if e-business wants you to approve an invoice, or if Primavera wants you to update a task, or the document control system wants you to review and comment on a document, all the notifications are carried through a single protocol to allow you to stay in one place. And it takes you to the right application with single sign-on, so you don't have to log in again, so you can do your work and come back. So a lot of the simple stuff we do, yes, I approve, no, I reject, oh, I've done 5 hours on that, not 10, you can do very quickly. You don't have to go into a tool to do that work. But we thought we'd go a little bit further and then try and think about how we work as a modern organization. So can we give some insight into the data that we already hold within the organization? Now that can be structured and unstructured in an engineering construction business. That's quite difficult. It's in drawings, it's in emails, it's on the back of cigarette packets, it's everywhere but in a database. So how can we get that information and help use it? And then can we do something useful with it? So very quickly, I've got a very advanced search engine that allows me to look at some of the stuff I might go to all the time, or just try and get insight into the project. So if someone says, hey, I've got a problem with a foundation on a building, is there a way I can go and find out if we've solved that problem once before somewhere else? Or if someone says, oh, hang on a minute, why is my margin eroding on the projects? Can I go and have a look and see what's happening on the contracts and see that very easily? Let's just let that refresh. So, what's happening on design change? Why is that contract on the left-hand side there? Why is it doubled in size? What's going on? What's happening to my margin here? So already I've got insight, and it's trawling through all of our data. It's trawling through all of our project data, all of our ERP data, and it's providing this up for me to easily see. But then I might want to ask people a question. I might want to just say, who knows something about whatever? So we built a social networking. And you can stand up. Don't you hate that? Did I get that wrong? So can I ask a question, and can I use my ecosystem, including my partners, to help me answer a problem? My favorite is this. In London, we built a bridge, and it was for a Millennium project, and it went from St. Paul's Cathedral in the north of the river to our new modern art gallery on the south of the river. And the first day people opened the bridge and everyone started walking on it, the bridge started to wobble. So they had to close the bridge because the people were sort of wandering around as if they were drunk, and we had to close the bridge. Now, the person who solved that problem was a harmonics engineer working on the Sydney Opera House. So he wasn't a structural engineer, and he didn't know anything about bridges, but he knew about harmonics. And this is the sort of things we're trying to do here. Can we solve problems quickly so that we don't waste time, we don't lose margin, we don't have people hanging around costing us money not doing anything? So that's the sort of things we're trying to help solve here as well. Now there's one other thing we've done with this solution. I'm actually going to finish on time and on budget on this presentation. One of the other things we've done here is we've made it easy for people to get started. So what we've tried to do is encapsulate best practice within this solution as well. So is there a way that we can get best practice? Because how many of you in your organization have got an A team and a B team? You've got the really great guys who always deliver on time and on budget, and then you've got someone else, they're okay, but you know, they've got a bit to learn or are a bit slow. So how can we get what the A team do and make that repeatable and cascade best practice through the organization? So what we've done with this is we've joined up through a series of templates the ability to establish a good way of doing something and then reuse it. So here's the example we go, and I won't demo it today, it's too much, but I'll talk a little bit through. Say I start from an opportunity within the organization. So I've tendered for something and I'm about to win it. What this system allows me to do is, first of all, it allows me to build a standard tracking plan. So it allows me to make sure that I capture all of the best behaviors that I need to do in a pursuit and do it time and time again. So when I go for my opportunity, it automatically creates me a Primavera plan that we've decided on as a business is best practice to pursue that type of work. And we can have multiple templates for those types of pursuits. So if you're pursuing a hospital, you might have one plan. If you're pursuing a road, you might have another plan. But it lets you do that. And then, having got the pursuit plan working, what we then do is we build you the construction plan as well. So have we already got a really good plan that delivered our road project or our bridge on time, on budget? Let's reuse it. Let's reuse it. Let's let everyone else use that plan. And that's what we let it do. But as well as that, it then cascades that information into the ERP. Is there a correct cost code structure and contracting structure we should be using as a standard way of doing things, and not different practices in different organizations? Because again, when I talk to client-side organizations, they're fed up of engineering construction businesses giving them different reports and different approaches from different opcos. I had one client show me 3 reports from one construction business building 3 office buildings in London. It was a progress report, and they were all different. He said, how did they do that? How much does that cost them? Well, I said, how much does that cost me, is what he actually said. So can we get to a point where we're really good? We're really confident in repeatability. And that repeatability is about increasing margin. Can we get much, much better, much cleverer at how we approach these projects? And I'll just give you a very quick insight into that. And then I can finish on time and on budget, which is really good. So if I go back to the dashboard here, and remember, this is all just driven off the cloud, and I'm on a hotel Wi-Fi. I'm on someone else's room's hotel Wi-Fi, actually. It's not even mine. And we'll just go into Primavera, and it knows who I am. And it'll let me go in through single sign-on. And the other thing it does is it understands the opportunity as well. It understands that I've got a healthcare project, it's in North America, and it's over a certain value. So it automatically takes the template and creates it in the right place in the enterprise project structure for me. It's already there as a quick start. And if I just close a couple of these up, we should see so I'm giving you all our secrets away here. We should see that I've got a hospital template plan and a hospital construction plan somewhere on that EPS node that I'm repeating. And then the final thing we've got is we've got a loop. We've got a loop back at the end that says when we finish a project, we'll go back and we'll reassess the template. So we won't copy one plan from the next. We'll reassess the template and try and get our best practice again. Because again, I've had examples of businesses who are consistently late delivering office projects in London. And one of the things I did before Primavera was I used to help the client take over the project from the construction business. And when I looked at their project plan and looked at their historical data trying to help them, they had a 38-week plan, which was their standard plan that they used to build office buildings. And they've never finished an office building in less than 40 weeks. So their initial plan was always late. It was always 2 weeks late. And no one had ever looked back to figure out why they hadn't updated the plan. So again, we've got some things in place that get improvement and continuous improvement to get best practice and better practice and better practice. And that's all about increasing margin. That's all about predictability and getting better at what we do. And if we look at that, if we just very quickly look at what that translates to when we look at a Primavera plan, imagine if you were starting a project for the first time and you arrived on the project and we gave you a pretty good outline. We already gave you a pretty good outline of what you should be doing for you to fill in the gaps and work out the subtleties of what's going on. So it's already got all of the substructure, superstructure, and everything in place, but it's even remembered that we want a handover document plan as well, so that we can track documentation and the handover and the delivery. So it's got all of the elements in place as a placeholder that you just fill in. Making a confidence and plan. So that's kind of what we've been doing with the solution. We've been trying to take a lot of tools, but then pull them together into a single workbench. All of this has got a nice messaging layer underneath. You get emails, you get notifications, but it brings you back to one place where we've got that constant feedback for improvement, and we've got an ease of use. That workbench is very simple. You know, imagine just clicking on a notification, being taken to the right place. You don't have to navigate, you don't have to find anything. Do I approve that invoice or not? Do I reject that? Change control. How many extra hours have I done on that task? So again, the training element goes down and the improvement in productivity goes up. We've had a great response to this. We've shown it to, the reason I got so many grey hairs is we finished it the Friday before Open World, and I was presenting it on the Monday, and I was learning it on the plane on the way over. But since then, we've shown it to a few organizations, and the general response has been, in fact, one CIO came up to me and said, "Thanks very much, Brian. You're the first person in Oracle to tell me how to do this. It looks about right." So we've had a great response to this, and if you've got any other questions, I'm around for the rest of the day. If you want to grab me and talk about it, please do. Again, we've got some partners. We've got some partners in region here who already understand how to do this and know how to get you started. That makes sense? On time, on budget. Don't you like Oracle when they do that? Thanks very much.